Hey, what's up guys? Today I'll show you a horror drama film, KKN DESA PENARI. Spoilers ahead, watch out and take care. The movie begins with a group of students reaching a village so that they can carry out their extracurricular activities here, also known as KKN. A shy girl named Noor imagines a creepy old man, but is snapped out of it by her best friend, Lady Bro. Now the group hitchhikes with a gang of biker boys who take them through the narrow route and a spooky forest. We also see a snake, hinting at something ominous to come. The group reaches a guide, who is the village head and will also be supervising the extracurricular activities for them. After a brief introduction, the guide tells the group that they are not allowed to do extracurricular activities inside the forest because the village folk will not accept it. However, after some arguing, the group convinces the guide to give them some activities. The guide takes them to a well, which was used as a bathing spot for dancers. He then explains how a water shortage is troubling the villagers and asks the group to figure out a way to channel water from the river into the well. Suddenly, Noor notices a demon lurking nearby. She gets scared but has to brush it off. Now we meet the rest of the students, including Babe, Joker, and a muscular boy named Big G, who likes Babe but is thirsted after by Lady Bro. The guide explains that the boys need to take their baths at the river, so they worry about how they'll take care of their smelly turds. Babe asks the guide about some religious ceremonies happening nearby, but he tells her that these are just rumors. Later, the guide takes the group to an old lady named Granny, and he says that the girls are going to stay with her. However, Granny is shown to be very fussy, and she doesn't like that Lady Bro is revealing her body through her short clothes. Adding on to her fishy comments, Granny tells the girls that they can be easily heard and seen through the bamboo house, so they shouldn't come up with any weird ideas. At night, Babe suddenly wakes up and is scared to see a shadow demon next to her. A scary scene follows, but nothing harmful happens to Babe, so she goes back to sleep. However, an old hag is shown stroking Noor's head like a cat, because she is later revealed to be a guardian angel for her. The next day, the guide takes the team on a tour of the village and explains the ways of the people living here, but Noor is clearly bothered by an ominous force. It's later revealed that nobody is allowed to engage in hormone yoga because it is banned in the village. The guide shows the group a graveyard, but they are shocked to learn that all the graves are for children who are less than 10 years old. The creepy aura surrounding Noor becomes too much for her, so she faints from it. Luckily, she comes back to her senses, and the group resumes their tour. The guide shows them a haunted monument, which they must avoid at all costs, but the monument seems to attract Babe. Later at night, we see a spooky sequence where a demon attacks Noor. However, she's only having a dream, and then we move forward to the group making subgroups so that they can explore the village faster and complete their extracurricular activities. Of course, there is a cause for concern because there are no young people in the village, probably due to the graves the guide had shown earlier. Now, Babe and Noor decide to take a bath next to the dancer's well, but Babe gets distracted by the haunted monument, so Noor goes inside the bathing room first. Unfortunately, as she takes off her clothes, Noor is attacked by a shadow demon who gives her a jump scare. Noor panics and slams at the door, hoping to get Babe's attention. However, Babe places her ears next to the door, thinking that Noor is having a hormone session with herself while taking a smelly bath. Now, the demon gets closer to Noor, and things look bad for her. But then, Noor asks God to forgive her, and the demon goes away. Noor decides it's better to be smelly than dead, so she doesn't take a bath and steps out of the bathing room. Babe doesn't think much of it and goes for her own bath. As she washes her dirty body, Noor wanders around the area. Tensions run high as Babe senses someone near her and panics a lot. Noor decides to be a peeping Tom, but notices a mystery woman who is later revealed to be a Jinn. Babe also notices the Jinn, but she vanishes in front of her eyes. Noor gets a jump scare during her peeping session, and then Babe pops out of the bathroom to confirm that all is well. Later, Noor meets the guide and an elder named Holy who looks at her and senses an unholy presence. He gives Noor his holy coffee, which she finds sweet. Holy explains it's because there is a demon of the forest who is after her for coming to the forest. He then performs a holy ritual on Noor and sacrifices an innocent dog to a holy demon so that he can save her. Basically, Holy is fighting evil demons with his own holy demon, who is now a holy dog. Later at night, Noor sees a snake, but is shocked to see Babe playing with it like a hormone toy. Babe wakes up to reveal that this was a dream, and she looks around for Noor, only to find her in the middle of a weird dance. However, this turns out to be a dream within a dream, as Babe is seen carrying out the dance, almost like a mating call. Big G notices Babe and is speechless, but Joker rushes to her so that he can snap her out of it. That's when Granny arrives and tells Joker to shut up his smelly mouth so that she can tend to Babe. The next day, Holy makes the group drink his holy coffee, but Babe is hesitant because she doesn't like the fishy coffee. The others find the coffee to be bitter, so Holy convinces Babe to take a holy sip. She surprisingly finishes all of it because she finds it to be sweet, thus confirming that there is a demon after her. Because of that, Holy offers her a holy ritual, and then Babe learns from the guide that the holy coffee is actually used as an offering to the village's ancestors. He then explains to Babe that the coffee has identified her to be cursed. Later, Noor and another boy do some exploring, but find a snake inside a closet and turn into chickens. At night, the boys and the girls are allowed to sleep in the same house, but the guide says not to try any hormone yoga without his guidance. Later, Babe hears some suspicious noises coming from Big G's room. She goes to check up on him, but doesn't find anyone inside his room. Babe gets distracted by the other girls, so Big G walks away into the forest. Babe sees Noor praying, so she goes to another room, but sees her there as well and panics a lot when the praying Noor is missing. Babe has to be calmed down, so she is given some water by the group. However, she starts choking and pulls out a disgusting strand of hair, proving that Holy's ritual was ineffective. The next day, Noor finds Big G and Lady Bro fighting over a bangle that was supposed to be given to Babe, but has been lost by Lady Bro. Now, Babe gets up from her sexy sleep and notices a man peeping at her sexy body. However, the man sees a snake instead and runs away even though Babe can't see anything inside the room. Nobody believes the man and his snake story because they couldn't find anything after searching the room. The guide figures something is up, so he tells Noor that this is happening because of their extracurricular activities. Noor asks her friends how much longer they have to put up with this, but they say the extracurricular activities are necessary for their graduation. Big G is then questioned regarding how much he prays, but he says that he doesn't need to prove his spiritual worth to anyone. Later, as Noor looks for Lady Bro, we see Big G and Lady Bro together in a pool inside the unholy monument. Apparently, they are practicing some smelly workout, even though Big G is acting like a small G. Meanwhile, Babe and Joker go shopping in the nearby town, where they are told by a seller never to go out into the forest at night. The seller explains that the forest likes to prey on their thoughts, and it makes Babe scared like a chicken, but Joker jokes around with her. On their way home, Joker jokes about the bike shutting down, and that's exactly what happens. Babe begins to panic, and then she spots an old man out of nowhere. Joker asks the old man for help, so he calls some village folk to help fix the Tesla bike. Babe and Joker are now taken to a party where everyone is dancing their hormones away. In attendance is the Jinn from earlier, who looks at sexy Babe with shady eyes. Joker gets excited after looking at the Jinn's seductive dance moves, and also takes a lot of food from the party. Now the old man tells him and Babe that the Tesla bike has been fixed, so they ride away from the scene. However, these people are all revealed to be spirits, which are under the Jinn's control. It turns out that Noor has caught Lady Bro and Big G doing their hormone yoga. She scolds them for their nasty behavior inside the monument. But then, Babe and Joker show up to tell them about the party. However, they are told that there's no other village in the area, and then Joker realizes that the food he stole was actually a monkey's head. Later, Noor finds a mysterious cloth inside her bag, and is then greeted by Babe, who has become possessed by the Jinn. She tells Noor to stay out of her business, and warns her against messing with her plans. Noor is scared, but the old hag shows up and scares Babe away, because she's Noor's guardian angel and protecting her. Then, we see Big G, who is apologizing to Noor for his hormone mistake. He then explains to her a dream where he saw Babe trapped by some snakes. The Jinn had shown up and told him that she will help Babe if he does a deal with her. She then instructed him to find a bangle and give it to Babe, which explains Big G's earlier conversation with Lady Bro. Big G adds that the Jinn wants him to meet her every day, and that's when Noor explains that the Jinn is just using him for an evil plan. Noor wants to help Babe and asks for the bangle, but Big G says that he's lost it. Later, Babe looks around for her friends and finds Noor praying in a suspicious manner. She's shown to be possessed by the old hag, and she tells Babe that Big G and Lady Bro will die because of their nasty sins inside the monument. With this, the old hag vanishes, and Noor comes back to her senses, but passes out. After Noor wakes up, she decides to check Babe's bag, and is shocked to find the bangle that Big G had told her about. Nur confronts her best friend about the bangle, so Lady Bro finally explains that she also struck a deal with the Jinn. It turns out that the Jinn put the bangle in Babe's bag and gave Lady Bro a shawl, which manipulated Big G into falling in love with her. Nur has had enough of this revelation, so she asks her friends to leave the village before it's too late. Now, Babe sees Big G heading out into the forest, so she follows him. Babe enters the unholy monument and spots a throne, but she ignores it and continues to look for Big G. After a lengthy search, Babe spots the Jinn in her snake form and is further shocked to see her playing a twisted hormone game with Big G, similar to what Nur saw with Lady Bro. Basically, the Jinn wanted Big G to visit her every day so that she could get impregnated. Suddenly, Babe is confronted by the spirits of the Jinn's victims and is taken to the throne room, where the Jinn tries to force her to stay. Babe tries to escape, but it's of no use as the spirits hold her back, and then we see Lady Bro, who is dressed exactly like the Jinn and proceeds to dance. Meanwhile, Nur finds Lady Bro's body next to her, but she is unresponsive. This means that both Lady Bro and Big G's spirits are with the Jinn, and not their real bodies. The guide and the others arrive at the scene and learn about what happened between Lady Bro and Big G, so they scold Nur for not revealing this information before. As the Jinn and the spirits taunt Babe, Nur goes to Holy and asks for his holy advice. That's when Holy reveals that the Jinn is actually the goddess of the forest, who used to be a dancer and wanted someone to take over her dancing responsibilities, which explains why Lady Bro has been turned into one. Despite Nur's desperate pleas, Holy says that the Jinn has already chosen her disciple, and there's nothing that can be done now. Babe can still be saved, so Holy summons his holy dog, who traces Babe's body smell and rushes to her. The holy dog sees the dance performance, and his presence halts proceedings, with even the Jinn not doing anything to stop Babe. Now, Babe runs her shitty life away with the holy dog, and then the villagers bring Big G's body next to Lady Bro. Both of them have lost their spirits, and Babe breaks down into tears upon seeing them. She reveals what she saw in front of the Jinn, so Holy gives her some holy coffee. Babe spits it out, confirming that she's no longer cursed by the Jinn. To explain what has gone down, the Jinn actually wanted Babe to become a dancer spirit, but Big G saved Babe by sacrificing his big but fishy sausage and giving the Jinn snake babies. Since Lady Bro always wanted to be with Big G, she also did a deal with the Jinn so that she could get the hormone shawl. However, by doing this, Lady Bro also allowed the Jinn to make her the new dancer. Holy explains that Big G willingly sacrificed himself for Babe, but Lady Bro has to keep dancing for eternity because of her unholy acts. The guide also explains to Nur that the village sacrifices children to the Jinn, which is why the graveyard shown earlier exists. Now, Nur and the surviving students go back home alive, and the bodies of Big G and Lady Bro are sent to the hospital. But they both die soon after the incident. The movie ends several years later when both Nur and Babe give an interview regarding their experiences, but they ask the reporters not to use their real names or the village's name. This is Daniel CC Movie Channel. Stay safe and enjoy your day.